Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be all about festivals around the world.
Ooh.
We've got a really interesting document here
Okay.
that goes into a bunch of different festivals, their origins, what they mean, why people celebrate them.
I love it.
So we're going to be talking about everything from, throwing tomatoes in Spain
Okay.
to honoring ancestors in Mexico.
Nice.
So it really,
A wide range.
yeah, a real global tour of celebrations.
I'm excited.
Me too. So I guess to kick things off,
Yeah.
why do we even celebrate anything?
Well, that's a great question. And I think it really gets at, kind of the heart of what makes us human.
Right.
Anthropologists have been studying this for a long time, and it seems like festivals really serve a lot of different purposes.
Okay.
One of the big ones is that they help preserve traditions. They're a way of passing down knowledge and customs from one generation to the next.
Right.
So it's like a living tapestry of cultural heritage.
So it's not just about, letting loose and having fun. It's actually like a vital part of keeping traditions alive.
Exactly. And, one of the best examples of that is Diwali,
Oh,
the festival of lights in India.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
I haven't, no.
We should go sometime. It's amazing. But it's this really vibrant celebration. It marks the victory of good over evil and light over darkness.
Wow.
And so people decorate their homes with all these little diyas,
Okay.
which are like these oil lamps.
Oh, cool.
And they symbolize the triumph of knowledge over ignorance.
I love that.
Yeah. It's a really beautiful,
Powerful.
powerful imagery. And it's a time for like reflection and renewal and, strengthening community bonds.
That's awesome. So you've got this idea of light overcoming darkness.
Right.
Which reminds me of another festival that we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
Day of the Dead in Mexico.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
A classic.
Yeah, and it might seem like a completely different vibe, on the surface.
Yeah, skeletons and skulls.
Right. But it also has that theme of remembrance.
Right.
And connection.
It's all about honoring loved ones who have passed on.
Yeah.
And, inviting their spirits to join in the festivities.
Right. And they create those like ofrendas.
Which are like these beautiful altars.
Right.
And they're decorated with marigolds and offerings of food and drink.
Wow.
It's really quite something to see.
So it's not morbid at all, really.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
A celebration.
It's a celebration of life.
Yeah.
And it's a way of, remembering and honoring those who have come before us.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting how, we have these two festivals from different parts of the world
Totally.
that seem so different on the surface,
Right.
but actually share this really deep theme
Absolutely.
of remembrance and connection.
Yeah, it's a really powerful example of how cultures around the world,
Right.
approach these big concepts like life and death
Yeah.
in their own unique ways.
Okay, so those are just two examples.
And I am ready to hear about more.
All right, let's do it.
Let's take a whirlwind tour
Let's go.
of celebrations around the globe.
All right, where should we start?
Let's start in Asia.
Okay, a great place to start.
So many vibrant traditions there.
Absolutely.
What comes to mind?
Well, you can't talk about Asian festivals without mentioning Chinese New Year.
Of course.
It's just this huge explosion of color and sound.
Yeah.
And it's all about, marking the beginning of a new lunar year.
Right.
So it's a time for fresh starts and family reunions.
Nice.
And you've got firecrackers and dragon dances and streets just awash in lucky red.
Oh, I love it. I can practically hear the firecrackers and smell all the delicious food.
Oh, yeah, the food is amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's like a big,
Yeah, high energy.
a big energy one.
Sensory overload.
For sure.
Yeah.
But what about something a little more,
Okay, a little more chill.
chill?
Well, in that case, we have to go to Japan for Hanami,
Okay.
the cherry blossom festival.
I have heard of that.
Oh, it's magical. Imagine just strolling through parks and gardens, surrounded by these delicate pink petals.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all about appreciating the ephemeral nature of life.
That sounds so peaceful.
It is. It's a really beautiful contrast to the, kind of craziness of Chinese New Year.
Totally. So we've got like explosive energy, peaceful contemplation.
Exactly.
Is there anything that kind of blends those two?
I think Holi might be a good example of that.
Okay, the Festival of Colors?
Yes. In India and Nepal, it's where everyone throws brightly colored powder and water at each other.
I've seen pictures of that. It looks so fun.
It is. And it's all about, celebrating the arrival of spring.
Yeah.
And the triumph of good over evil.
Oh, wow. So there's like a deeper meaning there, too.
Yeah, there's always a deeper meaning.
Okay, awesome. So we've got explosive energy,
Right.
peaceful contemplation,
Yep.
and a colorful blend of both.
It's all there.
Awesome. All right, so we've done a little tour of Asia.
A little taste of Asia.
What about Europe? What kind of celebrations are waiting for us there?
Ooh, Europe is full of amazing festivals.
Okay, good.
Let's start with a classic.
Okay.
Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany.
Okay, love it.
Picture this. You're in a bustling beer tent, raising a stein of frothy brew with all your friends. Everyone's wearing traditional lederhosen and dirndls.
Amazing.
There's music and dancing and just like this overall atmosphere of good cheer.
Sounds like a party.
It's a huge party. It actually started as like a royal wedding celebration back in the 19th century.
Oh, wow.
But now it's this global phenomenon.
So it's really evolves over time.
It has. And, speaking of evolving over time,
Yeah.
our source here mentions this really unique festival in Spain.
Okay.
Where the streets basically become a battlefield.
What?
But instead of weapons, they use tomatoes.
You kidding?
Nope. La Tomatina, the world's biggest tomato fight.
I've heard of this.
Oh, yeah. Have you been?
No, I haven't, but it's on my list.
Oh, you gotta go. It's in this little town called Buñol. And tens of thousands of people just gather to hurl tomatoes at each other.
That sounds like absolute mayhem.
It's crazy. It's just pure, messy fun.
What's the story behind that? How did that even start?
Well, the exact origins are a little bit murky.
Okay.
But some people say that it started as like a spontaneous food fight among friends.
Oh, that's funny.
Back in the 1940s.
Wow.
But regardless of how it started, it's become this huge international event.
That's wild. I love it.
Oh.
Okay, so we've got beer and tomatoes.
Yep.
What else does Europe have to offer?
Well, how about a little bit of mystery and intrigue?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Let's go to Venice for the Carnival of Venice.
Oh, yeah, the masks.
Exactly. It's all about these elaborate masks and costumes. You walk through the streets and you're surrounded by these mysterious figures.
Yeah.
You have no idea who's behind the mask.
I've always been so fascinated by masks and festivals.
Me too. It's like they transform people and allow them to step outside of their everyday identities.
Yeah, it's like entering a different world.
Exactly. It's a world of fantasy and revelry and, a little bit of mischief.
I love it. Okay, so Europe has a lot to offer.
It does.
We've got the boisterous energy of Oktoberfest.
Yes.
The masked mystery of the Carnival of Venice.
Right.
And, of course, the pure tomato-throwing chaos of La Tomatina.
Don't forget the tomatoes.
I won't. All right, so where to next on our global festival adventure?
Let's head to Africa.
Okay. I'm excited to learn about African festivals.
Africa has such a rich cultural heritage and a deep sense of spirituality.
Yeah.
And that really comes through in their celebrations.
Cool. What's first on the list?
Well, let's start in Ethiopia with Timkat.
Okay.
Which is this vibrant celebration commemorating the baptism of Jesus.
Interesting.
Yeah, so imagine this. You've got this procession of priests. They're all clad in these colorful robes.
Huh?
And they're carrying these sacred replicas of the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah, and they take them to a nearby body of water. And they perform this symbolic reenactment of the baptism.
That sounds like a powerful experience.
It is. It's a really important part of Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity.
Wow. Okay, so we've got a spiritual celebration in Ethiopia.
Right.
What about something a little more,
A little more what?
I don't know, celebratory maybe?
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Like a big spectacle.
All right, well, in that case, let's travel to Nigeria for the Durbar Festival.
Okay.
This is all about equestrian pageantry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you've got these processions of horsemen adorned in like these vibrant robes and turbans.
Okay.
And their horses are decorated with all this elaborate finery.
Wow.
It's really a sight to behold.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a celebration of power and cultural pride.
Cool.
And it actually has roots in like the historical cavalry parades of the Emirates.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
Yeah, so you've got this blend of tradition and spectacle.
Okay, so from the spiritual depth of Timkat
Yeah.
to the regal pageantry of the Durbar Festival.
It's a whole range.
Africa's got it all.
It does.
All right, let's keep moving.
Where to next?
How about the Americas?
All right, the Americas. A melting pot of cultures and traditions.
For sure.
We got to start with the big one, though.
Okay.
Carnival in Brazil.
Of course.
I mean, come on, it's legendary.
It is.
So, picture this.
Okay.
You're in Rio de Janeiro. The streets are packed with people.
Okay.
Everyone's wearing these like outrageous glittering costumes.
Okay.
And the air is just filled with the sound of samba music.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's just dancing and partying and having the time of their life.
That sounds amazing.
It's incredible. It's like the whole city just erupts in this massive celebration of life.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you think sets Carnival apart from like all these other festivals we've talked about?
I think it's the sheer scale of it. I
Yeah.
mean, millions of people participate.
Mm,
It's
people.
just this explosion of energy and joy.
Okay, and the samba music is a huge part of that.
Absolutely. It's infectious. You can't help but move to it.
All right, so we've got Carnival,
Right.
which is this like huge extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
But we can't talk about festivals in the Americas without going back to Day of the Dead.
Yes. Dia de los Muertos.
Such a unique and fascinating celebration.
It really is.
What else can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, it's a really powerful example of how a culture can transform the concept of death into something positive.
Yeah.
It's not about mourning or sadness.
Right.
It's about celebrating the lives of those who have passed on and welcoming their spirits back to the world of the living.
And those ofrendos are so beautiful.
They are. They're like these vibrant, colorful expressions of love and remembrance.
Yeah.
And the food, oh my gosh, the food is incredible.
Okay, I got to try that someday.
You do.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Okay, so from the unrestrained revelry of Carnival
Yes.
to the soulful remembrance of Day of the Dead.
A great contrast.
Yeah. The Americas really offer a spectrum of celebrations.
For sure.
Okay, we've journeyed across Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas.
We've been all over the place.
I know. One continent left.
Of Oceania.
Yes. What unique celebrations await us there?
Well, Oceania offers this really interesting mix of indigenous traditions and modern celebrations.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a very diverse region,
Yeah.
and that's reflected in their festivals.
Awesome. Where should we start?
Let's start with Matariki,
Good.
the Maori New Year celebration in New Zealand.
Oh, cool. I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's all about the rising of the Matariki star cluster,
Okay.
which signals the beginning of a new year in the Maori lunar calendar.
That's really interesting. So many festivals are tied to these like celestial events.
It's true. It's a reminder of our connection to the natural world.
Yeah.
And, you know, Matariki is a time for reflection and remembrance, but also celebration.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like all of those things wrapped up in one.
Yeah, exactly. Families gather to share stories and feast on traditional foods.
Yeah.
And they honor their ancestors.
That's beautiful.
It's a really special time of year.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a celebration tied to the stars.
Yeah.
What about something a little more modern?
Okay, how about a celebration of diversity and inclusion?
I love it.
The Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras in Australia.
Yes. I've always wanted to go to that.
Oh, it's amazing. It's this huge parade with vibrant floats and music and dancing.
Yeah.
And it's just this incredible expression of LGBTQ plus pride and equality.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a really powerful event.
It really shows how festivals can evolve and adapt to the times.
Absolutely. They're not static.
Right.
They reflect the changing values and beliefs of society.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so we've traveled across 5 continents,
We've done it.
experiencing a whirlwind of festivals,
A whirlwind indeed.
each one with its own unique flavor and cultural significance.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how these celebrations
Yeah.
bring people together,
Right.
preserve cultural heritage,
Yep.
and offer a glimpse into the soul of a society.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome. But our exploration doesn't end here.
Oh, no, we're just getting started.
We've seen the incredible diversity of festivals around the world,
Right.
but now I'm curious about the common threads that unite them.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What are the underlying elements that make a festival,
Yeah.
regardless of where it's celebrated or what culture it comes from?
That's a fascinating question and one that we're going to unpack next.
All right, I'm ready.
Get ready to delve deeper into the hidden meanings behind the music, the feasting, the costumes, the rituals, all the things that make festivals such a powerful expression of human culture.
I can't wait. Okay, so we've taken this incredible journey around the world looking at all these different festivals,
We have.
from the colors of hollies to the masks in Venice.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. And every celebration we've talked about, it's like a window into a different culture.
Right, like you get to see the heart of a society.
Yeah, exactly. But even with all that diversity, I'm starting to see some common threads.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like a universal language of celebration, but with different cultural accents, you know?
I love that analogy. You're right, though. There are these core elements that seem to be woven into the fabric of human experience.
Yeah, like regardless of where you go in the world.
Exactly.
People celebrate in these really similar ways.
It's like this shared need to connect, to celebrate, to find meaning in the world around us.
Yeah, totally. So what are some of those shared elements? What are like the building blocks of this global festival language that you're talking about?
Well, I think one of the most obvious ones is music and dance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, think about it, from the samba music in Carnival
Right,
to the drumming that you hear in a lot of African festivals.
right.
Music and dance are like universal expressions of joy and energy.
Yeah, and cultural identity, too.
Absolutely. It's a way of expressing who you are and where you come from.
And no matter where you go,
Mm.
music just has this power to bring people together.
Right. It transcends language barriers.
Yeah, it's like a sonic heartbeat that unites us across cultures.
Exactly. And it's not just about entertainment either.
Right.
Music and dance often play a really important role in storytelling and passing down traditions.
Yeah, like those dragon dances during Chinese New Year.
Exactly. They're not just visually spectacular, they're also telling a story.
Yeah.
They're embodying myths and legends that have been passed down for generations.
It's like a living, breathing form of cultural transmission.
I love that. It's so true.
Okay, so music and dance, check.
Check.
What else?
Well, another one that's pretty universal is feasting.
Oh, yeah, food.
Food.
Glorious food.
Whether it's a Thanksgiving turkey or, a Diwali feast.
Right. Every culture has its own special foods and traditions.
Yeah, and food just brings people together.
It does. It's a
Yeah.
symbol of abundance and generosity.
And it creates that sense of community.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the physical act of eating either.
Right.
There's often a lot of symbolism and ritual associated with food and festivals.
Yeah, like those ofrendas during Day of the Dead. Exactly. The food offerings are a way of honoring the dead.
Right.
And inviting them to join in the celebration.
It's amazing how something as basic as food can take on such profound meaning.
Right. It's really powerful.
Okay, so music feasting, what's next?
How about costumes?
Ooh, yes, costumes.
They're such a big part of so many festivals.
Yeah, and it's not just about looking good.
Right.
It's about embodying tradition and identity.
Exactly. Costumes can transform people,
Yeah.
allow them to step into different roles or connect with their cultural heritage.
Like those amazing feathered headdresses during Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Or the masks in Venice.
Right.
They're not just decoration.
Right.
They're visual representations of stories and myths and cultural values.
They're like wearable art,
I like that.
telling a story without words.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we've got music feasting costumes.
What about rituals?
Oh, yeah, rituals.
I mean, so many festivals are steeped in these traditions that have been passed down for generations.
Right, and they often have like a deep spiritual or symbolic meaning.
Absolutely. Think about the water blessings during Timkat, or the lighting of the dayas during Diwali.
Yeah, those are powerful examples.
They add a layer of depth and purpose to the festivities.
Yeah, and they connect people to something larger than themselves.
Exactly. It's about connecting to your beliefs, your ancestors, your community.
Okay, so rituals are key.
Key.
And I think the last element that we have to talk about is some kind of public spectacle,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
whether it's a parade or a procession or even a giant tomato fight.
Right. La Tomatina.
Yeah, these public displays are all about shared experience,
Yep.
community spirit,
Totally.
and just like a collective outpouring of emotion.
I love that.
Think about those dragon dances during Chinese New Year.
Oh, yeah.
They're winding through the streets, bringing good luck and prosperity to everyone.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, or the chaos of La Tomatina.
Right. Everyone's covered in tomatoes, laughing and having a good time.
It's like a cathartic release of energy.
Exactly. And it brings people together in this really unique way.
Okay, so we've got music feasting, costumes, rituals.
All like spectacles.
It's a recipe for a good time.
It is. And all of these elements work together to create this universal language of celebration.
Right, but each culture brings its own unique dialect to that language.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating to explore.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, so we've talked about the why of festivals, like
Yeah.
why do we celebrate?
Right.
And we've talked about the how,
The elements of celebration,
yeah, the common threads.
the building blocks.
Yeah, but now I'm curious about how festivals are adapting in the modern world.
Ooh, good question.
Are they becoming more commercialized?
Right.
Are they losing their cultural significance?
Are they facing new challenges?
Yeah, what's the future of these age-old traditions in today's globalized society?
That's a big question.
It is, but it's an important one.
It is, and it's one that we're going to tackle next.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's dive into the complex and evolving world of festivals in the 21st century. Okay, so we've really explored the heart and soul of festivals around the world.
We have.
Why we celebrate the common elements, the
Yeah.
amazing diversity.
Yeah. Real deep dive.
It is. But now I'm thinking about these ancient traditions and, like, how are they surviving in the modern world?
Right. Like, how are they adapting?
Exactly. Are they thriving? Are they
Right.
struggling?
Yeah.
What are the challenges?
It's a big question.
It is. What do you think?
Well, it's something that a lot of people are thinking about these days.
Yeah.
Anthropologists, cultural critics, even festival organizers themselves.
Right?
Because on the one hand, festivals have never been more popular.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got tourists coming from all over the world.
Right.
These festivals are generating billions of dollars in revenue.
Wow.
Like Oktoberfest, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of visitors every year to Munich.
Wow.
And it pumps billions of euros into the local economy.
So festivals can be huge economic engines.
They can.
Yeah, driving tourism and supporting local businesses.
But I also wonder if there's a downside to that. Right. Like, is there a risk that all this tourism and commercialization
Yeah,
could overshadow the original cultural significance?
that's a real concern.
Yeah. What do you think? I think it's a balancing act.
Okay.
Festival organizers are trying to find that sweet spot
Right.
between, sharing these traditions with the world
Right.
and making sure that they don't lose their authenticity.
Right, because you don't want them to just become like mass-produced spectacles.
Exactly. Where it's all about the tourists and not about the culture.
Yeah, and I think about those overpriced souvenirs you often see at festivals.
Right. Like, is that really representing the culture?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the meaning gets lost in the sea of merchandise.
I know. And that's why it's so important for festival organizers to really prioritize cultural preservation,
Yeah,
alongside the economic benefits.
right. So it's got to be both.
It has to be both.
Yep.
And a lot of festivals are doing a really good job of that.
Okay.
They're involving local communities. They're promoting traditional arts and crafts. They're educating visitors about the meaning behind the celebration.
So it's like finding that sustainable balance
Exactly.
between sharing and preserving.
Yep.
Okay, so commercialization is one challenge.
Right.
What other challenges are festivals facing these days?
Well, overcrowding is a big one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially for these really popular festivals,
Yeah.
When you have massive crowds descending upon a small town,
Right.
it can create all sorts of problems.
Yeah, logistical nightmares, environmental strain.
Exactly. And even safety hazards.
Right. I've heard those stories, too, about festivals that are just overrun with tourists.
Right. It becomes like
Yeah.
it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, it loses that celebratory vibe.
Totally.
So sustainable tourism is really key.
It is.
Finding ways to manage those crowds and minimize the environmental impact.
Absolutely. And a lot of festivals are starting to do that.
Okay.
Limiting ticket sales, expanding venues, promoting off-season events.
So spreading things out a bit.
Exactly.
Okay, and then sustainability is important, too.
Huge.
Reducing waste, conserving energy,
Right.
supporting local businesses that are eco-friendly.
All of that.
So there's a growing awareness of the need to be responsible.
Definitely.
Yeah, balancing the economic benefits with the responsibility to the environment
And the culture.
and the culture.
Yes.
Any other challenges you want to highlight?
I think one more that's really important to mention is cultural misrepresentation.
Okay. Yeah.
Or even appropriation.
Right.
Because as festivals become more global,
Yeah.
there's this risk that traditions can be misinterpreted or simplified.
Yeah, or like taken out of context.
Exactly. And even exploited for commercial gain.
Right.
Without a real understanding of their meaning.
Yeah, it's like the difference between appreciating a culture and just,
Appropriating it.
appropriating it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can we be more respectful?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. How can we, as festival goers,
Yeah.
experience these celebrations in a way that's both fun and respectful?
Well, I think it starts with research.
Cool.
Before you go to a festival, take some time to learn about it.
Yeah.
Its history, its significance, its local customs.
So do your homework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't just show up expecting to be entertained.
Yeah.
Come with a genuine curiosity and a desire to learn.
Be a participant, not just a consumer.
I love that. And then once you're at the festival, be mindful of your behavior.
Okay.
Follow local customs, dress appropriately, be respectful of the rituals and traditions that you encounter.
So basically be a good guest.
Be a good guest.
Wow.
And support local artisans and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Buy authentic crafts.
Yeah.
Try the local cuisine.
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is.
And be mindful of your environmental impact.
Yeah.
Bring a reusable water bottle, Avoid single-use plastics.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
So it's all about being a conscious traveler,
It is.
even if you're just traveling to a festival in your own town.
That's right.
Awesome. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have, from ancient roots to modern challenges.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
It has, but a fun one.
So as we wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the big takeaway is that festivals are powerful.
Yeah.
They're expressions of human culture.
Right.
They offer this incredible tapestry of traditions and rituals and beliefs
I'm all over the world.
from all over the world, and they can be sources of joy and connection and cultural preservation.
Yeah.
But they also face real challenges in today's world.
Right.
So as we engage with these celebrations,
Yeah.
let's do it with curiosity and respect
Yeah.
and a commitment to being sustainable and ethical.
Beautifully said. This deep dive has been a real whirlwind of discovery,
It has.
reminding us that the world is full of amazing celebrations,
It is.
just waiting to be explored.
Responsibly, of course.
Responsibly, of course. So, to our listeners out there,
Yes.
what festival calls to you?
What celebration sparks your curiosity?
Whether it's the energy of Carnival, the spirituality of Timcat, or the pure tomato-throwing chaos of La Tomatina.
You know there's a festival out there for everyone.
So keep exploring. Keep that sense of wonder alive, and happy celebrating.
Happy celebrating.